In this video, I'm gonna suggest a way that you can set up your pricing structure for shooting real estate photography. Hey everyone, if it's your first time to the channel, my name is Matthew. I am an interiors and architecture photographer based in Kansas City. Now, since we are discussing something around the subject of real estate photography, I want to be upfront with you and let you know that I don't currently market myself as a real estate photographer. A few years back, I decided to transition out of real estate photography and focus more on work for custom home builders, architects, and interior designers. But before making that move, I did primarily shoot real estate for about 4 years straight. While I was shooting real estate, and even when I transitioned out of it, I noticed one consistent thing when it came to real estate photographers. There's no consistent structure in how they set up their pricing. Granted, home sizes and property types vary. So in one instance, you'll have a photographer who bases their pricing maybe on square footage, and then in another instance, you'll have a photographer who bases it on maybe number of bedrooms, and in another instance, you'll have a photographer who bases it on the listing price. And some just have the same flat rate for the same amount of photos, no matter what size the property is. For real estate agents and realtors though, this can be kind of confusing when they're shopping or trying to compare one photographer to another. So I'm gonna suggest a structure that I've used that's not only simple, but easily adaptable to the different property sizes and types that you'll probably shoot. Simply put, it's a photo shoot fee plus a per image fee. And if this setup sounds familiar, it's because it's a very similar way that many architecture photographers structure their pricing when doing work for architects and designers. And the reason so many architectural photographers set up their pricing this way is, well, because it works. Not only is it simple for your real estate clients to understand, but the structure also conveys the message that your time as a skilled professional is extremely valuable. So how does it work exactly? Well, before we run some numbers, and believe me, we are going to go over some numbers, I want to pose a question to you. How valuable do you consider your time to be? And I'm not asking some deep philosophical question here. I'm simply asking, how much are you worth per hour on site as a skilled professional real estate photographer? And I'm not even talking about anything editing related yet. With the knowledge and skill that you've acquired up to this point when it comes to composition, lighting, plus all the equipment you've purchased, plus your overall experience and lessons and courses that you've taken over the years up to this point, how much per hour are you worth? Now, I can't tell you how much you're worth, but just so we have some round numbers to use as an example, let's pretend that if you're fairly new to real estate photography, you value your per hour time at, say, $100 per hour. And maybe an experienced photographer might say their time is worth $200 per hour. Now, the next thing we have to figure out is what is the average time it takes you to photograph a property. Try to think of the average time. Is your average shoot time maybe an hour? Is it an hour and a half? Is it 2 hours plus? Take that per hour amount that you think you're worth and then multiply it by your average shoot time. And there's your photo shoot fee. That is your fee as a professional that you would charge a client to simply show up and shoot. So let's say you're the photographer who's fairly new to the genre of real estate and you figure your time to be worth $100 per hour, and the average time it takes you to photograph a property is 1.5 hours. We'll take 100 times 1.5 and you have your photo shoot fee of $150. Maybe you are that experienced photographer who values their time at $200 per hour, but realistically, on average, you're able to knock out most shoots in about an hour or even less. Well, I wouldn't go any less than an hour, so just take that $200 per hour times 1 hour. Clearly, you have a photo shoot fee of $200. Maybe you are an extremely experienced photographer and you value your time at $250 per hour. You shoot nothing but high-end mansions. Most of the time, these shoots take you roughly 2 hours. Take that $250 times 2, and you have your photo shoot fee of $500. Now this number, this photo shoot fee number you come up with stays consistent across the board, no matter what kind or size of property you're shooting, whether it's a condo, a single family home, or a townhouse. Let's say you came up with $125 as your photo shoot fee. Well, if you get a call to shoot a tiny condo in downtown, your photo shoot fee is $125. If you have the opportunity to shoot that big mansion in the affluent area of the city, your photo shoot fee is still gonna be $125. Now, the next big part of this structure that we need to figure out is your per image fee. This is the adaptable part. This per image total is the part that will vary and change from one property to another. So let's figure this out. In order to do this, I want you to figure out three things. First, what is the average type of property that you shoot? Secondly, what is the average number of images that you end up delivering to your real estate clients? And third, how much do you think a fair all-in cost is to shoot a property like that? What do you think is a fair all-in amount that you should charge in order to show up, photograph, edit, and deliver these images to your real estate agent and realtor clients? As an example, let's pretend that based on the average type of property that you shoot, you come up with a number of $300, and you know that you typically deliver about 30 images to your clients. Now, if you decided that your photo shoot fee was, say, $125, you take that 125 and subtract it from the 300, and you get 175. Take 175 and divide it by 30, which again is the average number of photos that you say you deliver, and you get 5.83, which if it were me, I would obviously round up to 6. And there you have it, a $6 per image fee. One day, a real estate agent calls you up inquiring about what your pricing is, and you say my photo shoot fee is $125 and I have a $6 per image fee. That agent hires you to shoot a small condo downtown, and you end up only delivering, say, 20 images. For that shoot, you make $245. The following week, that same agent hires you to photograph a massive house, and you end up delivering, say, 50 images. In that instance, you make $425. Let's run an example as if you were a highly experienced real estate photographer. You value your time at $200 per hour, and you know that on average, it takes you about 1.5 hours to photograph a property. So 200 times 1.5, you come up with a photo shoot fee of $300. On average, you shoot fairly large homes, and again, on average, you deliver roughly about 50 images per property. And you say to yourself, you know what? I should be making no less than $500 to shoot a property like that. Subtract your photo shoot fee amount of $300 from that 500, and you get 200. Take 200 and divide it by 50, which again is the average amount of images that you say you deliver, and you get $4 per image. Now, if it were me, in my opinion, I would not charge anything less than $5 per photo. So let's take that $4 and bump it up to $5. Your real estate pricing structure now is a photo shoot fee of $300 plus a $5 per image fee. That agent we used as an example before now calls this photographer to photograph that small condo in downtown, and again, they deliver 20 images. In that instance, this experienced photographer makes $400. That same photographer ends up shooting one of the big, massive houses, and they deliver 50 images. For that shoot, they make $550. Now, this might be quite a bit of a paradigm shift from maybe the way you're used to or how you set up your current pricing, but keep in mind that how accepting your either current or future clients are going to be of this pricing is all in how you present it. Personally, I've called it adaptive pricing or custom pricing. From an agent's perspective, they know that if it's a small property, they'll pay less. And if it's a large property, they're gonna pay more. It's really not that foreign of a concept. So each invoice you send is going to be custom to that specific property that you photographed. Now, you don't have to mess with things like asking about what the square footage is, or how many bedrooms and baths it is, or what's the listing price. You don't have to mess with any of that. It's simple and easy for everyone involved. Now, you might be feeling torn. You might say, well, I love the idea, but I can't change things with my current clients. They're so used to my current pricing structure. Then I suggest this. For brand new clients who have never used you before, quote them this brand new pricing structure. And for your current clients, let them know that a change is coming, but it's a ways off, and say it may not happen till Q2 or Q3 or summer, winter, whenever. Give them the peace of mind that this change, if they're apprehensive, is still a ways off. And let them know that up until the point that you make this change, you will still grandfather them in and honor your current pricing structure. That way they have plenty of time to wrap their minds around it, and when the change does come to their pricing, it's not a surprise. Now, I realize this pricing framework may not work for every single real estate photographer business. This is clearly not the absolute most definitive way to do it, but it is an easy and simple way that's straightforward and adaptable to each photographer relative to their experience in the industry. So what are your thoughts on this? Could this work in your scenario, in your market, in your situation? Is this the best pricing idea you've ever heard of? Or is this the most terrible garbage idea out there when it comes to pricing real estate photography? I am curious, so feel free to let me know in the comments. If you made it all the way through the video, as always, everyone, I sincerely appreciate you taking the time to watch. If you got anything out of it, make sure to give me a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed yet, please consider doing so. Feel free to follow me on Instagram at MatthewAPhoto, and that's it for this video. We'll see you on the next one.